Hello, hello. My name is Yarin, and today we are going to be doing a little overview of the new month of Shvat. Almost said Tevet, but we just moved from the month of Tevet, which is a winter month, which is a little bit dormant, which is, not such high vibes. But we're now moving into Shvat, which is the month of spring, which is the month where the sap is rising in the trees, things are blooming, things are moving, and everything that is happening in nature is also reflected within us. So really this is the month to kind of bloom again. I know a lot of us during the winter, you can get seasonal depression. You can be like, what the hell am I doing with my life? You can get, a little bit down, a little bit dark, but don't forget that from the darkness, that is where the most light comes from. So we're learning in the winter months to rest. We also learn this through the menstrual cycle. We also learn this through the Shabbat. We have to understand that there are cycles in nature and there are cycles within us that really allow us to rest and to recalibrate so that we can step out renewed, that we can bloom again. So during those times, we shouldn't be too freaked out about, I know within myself this winter, I was like, oh my God, I should work harder. I'm not doing enough. And it's like, no, babe, this is the time to rest. So really learning that it's okay to rest in winter, and now this is the time to bloom. And welcome to Shvat. So Shvat, according to Kabbalah, is connected to the sense of taste. The sense of taste has everything to do with eating and everything that we consume. Kabbalah and Jewish philosophy teaches us that consuming isn't just with our mouths, but everything that we take in, any information, anything we read, anything that we watch, anything that we listen to, anything that we let into our bodies in other ways, if you know what I'm saying. So this month, there's a deep focus on having intention with what we are consuming. Just saying that, I can feel resistance within myself being like, no, but I want to just do whatever I want to do. And it's like, I want to eat this and I want to eat this. And just taking a breath and just knowing that this month, even if I just do this much to make it better, this much to have more intention, I can do it with love, with kindness and compassion towards myself. So number one, the rectification of eating and being intentional with everything that I'm taking in, not just through my mouth. So that's number one. Number two, a very special thing is that every Jewish month doesn't just have a sense connected to it, but it also has a Hebrew letter. And the Hebrew letter connected to the month of Tevet is the letter tzadik. And tzadik means a righteous person. Now, what is a righteous person? A righteous person is someone that is able to overcome their evil inclination. Now, obviously, that's not something that a person gets to at a certain point in their life and now they're like good and they're sweet. But in our generation, we have a few people that are really living on a very high state of consciousness. And our work, especially this month, is to find those people that we have a special connection to, because when we are around someone of a very high state of consciousness, just by being around them, our consciousness is elevated. We know that if you're hanging out with bad people, that's going to lead to you doing not such good things, because your environment dictates who you are. It's just by osmosis. So even if we have one person in our lives, and it could be a mentor, it could be a rebbetzin. For me, I have one woman that I'm after, and she is just someone that I look up to so much, and just to be around her, just to see her face and her light and her aura lifts me up. So this month, it's very important to find a person and a mentor that you want to emulate, and that just by being around them, you can transcend through their consciousness. I know that sounds a little bit like much, but let me tell you, it's a real thing. Okay, so today is the new moon because it's Rosh Chodesh, but in 2 weeks, like most Jewish holidays, we have a Jewish holiday called Tu BiShvat. Now, at school, you probably learned Tu BiShvat as like, Tu BiShvat igi azman leilanot, the holiday of the birthday of the trees. But really, this is a very interesting holiday because it's kind of been dormant for like 3,000 years since the Jews left this land. But it was originally a biblical holiday that had to do with taxation on trees and the fruit and different stuff like that. But I'm not an expert on biblical fruit taxation. But what I can say is that in recent years, since the creation of the state of Israel and since the Jews have come back to Eretz Israel, what has actually happened is that this has become a day where the JNF basically started planting a lot of trees and made it like a cultural, behavioral, like fun experience thing that everyone plants trees on this day. So today, over 2 6.5 million trees have been planted in Israel in the past 100 years. And we're one of the only countries that 1 century later actually have more trees than they did starting out, which is really insane and no one really talks about, but now I'm talking about it. So but yeah, so Tu BiShvat has kind of been recreated into this gorgeous like Zionist festival, and actually the Knesset was also inaugurated on this day in like I think it was 1949. So Tu BiShvat kind of has this new meaning right now connected to Israel and to Zionism. And so what do we actually do on Tu BiShvat? Number one, we plant trees. You can also plant trees if you're out of Israel, but we plant trees, and we have something called a Seder. Like a Pesach Seder, yes, where we drink 4 cups of wine and we eat different fruits and dried fruits, and most importantly, we eat this part of the 7 species from the land of Israel, from Eretz Israel. And really, this whole connection between us, the Jewish people, and this land is almost a relationship that has just been renewed. And the land is this feminine in the same way that a woman has a womb and she receives a seed of a man, and then she takes it and she bears its fruit. This land also receives seeds and bears fruit, and also is now in this relationship with Am Yisrael after it hasn't been for a very long time. So there is this revival of the land, and it's not like this biblical thing that happened a long time ago, but right now we're seeing the interconnectedness with the resurgence of the nation state of Israel and this land, and it's just this beautiful synergy. And Tu BiShvat's pumping, let me tell you. Not many people know about it, but it's a big day. So yeah, planting trees, having a Tu BiShvat Seder, and these are just some of the really special things of this month. I'm not going to go into so many other details because I think that was more than enough. But yeah, just to recap and review what we spoke about is number one, Shvat as this time of blossoming, of renewal. I like to call it the time of my glow up, after the winter months that were not easy to say the least. So that's the first thing. Another small thing that I just want to add is that in Judaism, we actually have 4 New Years. And now obviously you'll say to me, Yarin, how can you have 4 New Years when there's just 1 year? You can't have 4 New Years in 1 year. But actually, very cool is that in Judaism, time isn't linear. Time is actually cyclical. So each basically year represents a certain phase and a certain cycle within our calendar. So for example, we have, and why am I saying this? Because Tu BiShvat is the new year of the trees, but we actually have another 3 New Years besides for that. The first one is the Rosh Hashanah, the New Year's that we know, and that is connected to the cosmic creation of the world. It's the Day of Judgment for the whole world. So it's kind of like a global New Year's. And then we have the first of Nisan, which is like the month of Pesach, and that is basically the New Year of the nation. It's on like a Jewish national scale. So we have the cosmic scale, and we also have the national scale, the first of Nisan, vis-a-vis the first of Tishrei. And then we also have, which no one really knows about this, the first of Elul, which is like the taxation on the sheep and the cattle back in the day. So we don't actually, it's not really a thing anymore. But yes, there are 4 official New Years in the Jewish calendar, and this month we have one of them, which is Tu BiShvat. So yeah, all I can say is that find yourself a tzadik this month, or a tzadika. Work on watching what you're consuming. Not easy. If you smoke, maybe you should smoke less. And yeah, so wishing you a happy Shvat. Subscribe for more, follow for more. Would love to share more, because there's so much, but I think it's good to keep this short and to the point. So happy Shvat, and we'll see you soon. Love you lots.